Jey Uso versus Gunter. It's not overall WrestleMania main event worthy. Night one main event worthy. Jey winning the Rumble. It was a genuine shock, genuine surprise.
Just seeing the interaction the other day of like with Moose and with Emmy, it was just unbelievable. I want to see that match. I really want to see those two go at it.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Unnamed podcast here on the FiveMarks Network, the new podcast, as it's been put, hosted by yours truly, the only Mark on the FiveMarks Network. Delighted to be back in this hot seat, joined today by Aaron again. Aaron, how's it going?
Hello, Marky boy. It's going good. It's good to be here. Do you know, I love how you've got your gimmick and your intro all nailed on. You know, last week I was the savior of the FiveMarks podcast, but I don't feel it's been saved, so I'm starting from square one again. But it's good
Oh,
to know.
can't be saved when unfortunately the other man that's with us just so happens to be the ultimate head of the table, the main man himself, the Godfather. It's Martin.
He
Welcome
was
to the
in
show.
one episode. He was almost the savior and the killer all at once.
Yeah, it was a close one.
Look, it's a good job we got Kevin Dunn behind the
Yeah,
scenes
oh,
to help us out.
I wouldn't go as far as Kevin Dunn. I don't have the camera angles fucking changing every 2 seconds. Trying to get all the
Just as
fucking,
well.
trying to get all the good shots.
Yeah, but our man Martin joins us today, pretty much to babysit after
Pretty
almost
much,
getting cancelled on our
one
very
episode,
first.
and Aaron almost had us completely cancelled, which people would never see what actually happened, and it wasn't actually that bad. We're just gaslighting.
It's fine. It's all right. I apologised last week, but the world will never know.
He didn't say sorry once, not once.
Well, well, as Aaron starts his redemption arc story, the same way that I hope Drew McIntyre does for all these losses he is enduring at the moment, how about we discuss our topics for the week? So, quite a lot we're going to be discussing in this podcast. Clearly, we want to establish our own stuff, our own shtick. Random Rest of the Week is returning again. Everyone's been prepped, getting themselves an interesting background to pop the boys. But the topics of the week, the main things we're really looking at over the last couple of weeks in wrestling is what's been going on in WWE, typically. What looked like it was going on in WWE, and then what's fucked up by WWE, whether they like it or not. Um, how TNA's partnership is going with WWE is something we're going to dive into as well. We're going to give Aaron a little bit of time for his own rant. I have
Oh
absolutely
God,
no idea how
he's
that's going to
ranting.
go. Yeah, we'll see how long we can keep ourselves engaged on that
I
one.
know how Carmel
Yeah.
feels now when I have Tony Khan on the brain.
Oh, for goodness sake, I'm going to get us cancelled again. And our final segment will see us talk about a little bit more of a deep dive, a bit more of a discussion base, right? We've all got an idea of gimmicks or wrestlers who deserve more, should have been more over, should have been more pushed. We're going to bring them to the table, and each of us will do that. But starting today, as we will hopefully always do. It's the random wrestler of the day, where each of us change our background to pop the boys. And it looks as though I'm going to choose our future savior to kick us off with his random wrestler of the day. And to this day,
So it's just a
it might be
picture of
episode
Aaron.
2. I bet you one of these days we're going to have the exact same guy. It might be this time. Aaron, take it away.
Oh, by future savior, I thought you meant
I thought it was
Martin
gonna be.
there.
I thought it
So,
was gonna be a picture of fucking Aaron in the background. Our savior. Here's Aaron.
our savior. Well, do you know what? Speaking of savior, I think this ties in lovely to my random wrestler of the week, boys. Look, Martin, I don't know you that well, but Martin knows me very well, and you know he'll got a reputation back home of just being this mad love maker. You know, just with the
Oh
women,
God.
and you know, it just got me thinking of inspiration of who got me, who gave me the motivation really to be this love maker.
I
And
hope it's
you
Gene
know,
Snitsky.
as we spoke about last week, big fan of the mid 2000s, and I'll say this guy was an inspiration of mine. One of the best finishers out there, especially when you play SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. You would pick this finisher in a heartbeat.
Do we get a guess? Do we get to
It's one of
guess?
two people.
Well, do you know what? This guy had a range of gimmicks. He had a questionable look at times. He was in very weird segments. But like I say, I think he's a misunderstood wrestler because he's not got a good reputation. Well, he never had a good reputation really in the ring. But he's one of my heroes and one of my inspirations. So I don't know if you want to guess, or I could just get him on screen right
Martin,
now.
have you got it?
I have it.
You
I think
got
I
it.
got it too. Kick us
Cool.
off.
He's world. He's the largest.
And
He's
ladies
a
and man,
love
it's a love
machine.
Love
machine.
machine.
Viscera!
Oh my
And he
fucking
comes in and he
God.
just goes like that. Yep, big best. Honestly, I with everything going on to Netflix, I've been watching a lot of wrestling pay-per-views, and I just love Big Best. I just think he was misunderstood. Big Daddy V was not a good gimmick. That ruined him. I'm not one to body shame anyone, but when you look like that, do not wear that outfit. That was just not the way to end the guy's career. Obviously, what happened to him was tragic. That's not actually why he's on it. I just like, I mean, look at him. Look at his eyes. I mean, look at him and that cheeky smile. So that's why my random wrestler of the week is the world's largest love machine, Viscera.
Well, I for one popped. If this segment is to be rebranded as Pop the Boys, I think that's the first time that you managed to actually pop us. Okay, got me, Martin. I don't know how you're gonna beat that.
I put loads of thought into this, and I'm definitely not taking the easy, cheeky way out because we haven't had an episode come out yet after I have changed my background. It's loads of people's faces. You got Penta, Wardlow, John Moxley's there in the background. You know, definitely not using this opportunity to show off my new background. No, not one bit. Okay, that's my segment done. Yeah, that's my segment done.
For anyone listening in, you'll be like,
What the fuck is
"What's
he
this
talking
guy?"
about?
Yeah.
So Martin has decided, and I must be careful every
cheap
single
way
time
out.
whenever I try to slate the boss, I need to, think about that carefully because it's not really
I will
working
say
out.
it was either this or I go up to my attic and I get my 2K24, I think it is, pop up John Cena thing behind me. So
So many things wrong with that sentence there. The
You
attic.
keep that. You keep that. In the
it's a
attic, mate.
cardboard thing to promote the game. God,
And I'm the
please
weirdo for picking
take it
Viscera.
away from me. I've already fucked up here.
Okay, so we're gonna swiftly move on. I think.
Forget
So
I
Car
said
crash of a
anything.
segment. Car crash.
Forget I said anything.
okay. Well, at the same time, I now kind of feel that my random wrestler of the week might be on that sort of wavelength. We got a bit of a creepy feel to this pod so far. We've got the sexual deviant that is the world's largest love machine. We've got Martin and his whatever he does with his John Cena cardboard cutout. But what about another wrestler of a slightly, possibly similar, if not a little bit earlier era to Aaron's background today? Catchy but really shitty theme tune. Somebody that was maybe a little bit misunderstood. Had a couple of different gimmicks. The first one was never ever going to work. For political reasons, and no, that doesn't mean Muhammad Hassan, but on the same sort of
First
lines.
thing that came to my head was Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good. I can give it away by saying that this man still terrorizes one of the most prominent figures on weekly television in WWE and one of the most likable characters in WWE today, I would say. Still terrorizing from a backstage segment that will live rent-free in all of our heads.
It's well, I've got a couple people in mind,
I've
but
got
I don't
one
know.
person in mind.
Yeah, is he blonde?
He may well be blonde.
Does he wear red gloves? He does wear red gloves.
It's this man. It is the one and only Heidenreich.
Oh
There's
my!
no way that this wasn't planned.
Uh,
Visser and
imagine,
Heidenreich.
imagine the tag team of Big Vis and Heidenreich
No, I
and
don't
Michael
want
Cole.
to. I don't think Michael Cole wants to.
Oh dear, a heel Michael Cole taking the Visagra.
Ah,
Everyone would love that.
I don't think he needed any Visagra after this segment. It's the back of my screen here. Um, okay, that's mine. I don't think I popped the boys half as much as Viscera, unfortunately, but
If you
Heidenreich
went
is my wrestler
first,
of the week.
It was
if you
more.
went
It
first,
was more
Mark.
of a. Oh, for fuck's sake! This is like the two themes. Is this? This is
Yeah.
this is literally the definition of such good shit.
What's even weirder is like if I kind of do this, I, for those of you listening, Heidenreich's lips are far too close to my head right now. It's kind of giving me the creeps, but maybe that's the point. And for those of you who didn't get the reference, Heidenreich's first gimmick in the Fed, the Nazi. Or at least the thought of being this frozen Nazi, which never got off the
Ah.
ground, thankfully. So, anyway,
Such good shit.
so we still think the place is better without Vince, right?
No, no. Who said? Whoever said the place is better without Vince is
Correct.
I don't have the word for it. Yeah, I don't have the word for it. But anyway, let's move on. I don't want to get cancelled.
Yeah.
Where are we
All right.
starting?
So let's look at how about a time look back on the couple of weeks since we checked in with our esteemed viewers and listeners. So by then it was fairly obvious what was coming for one man, and that was Jey Uso after winning the Rumble Royal. He later would go on to pick Gunther as his opponent, which we must acknowledge is the right move for him, probably. But yeah, what we're going to do is dive into the last couple of weeks. A couple of weeks ago, Jay picks Gunther. We see more developments in WWE and TNA's partnership. We see the Elimination Chamber almost book itself, or so we thought. Um, a lot has been going on and a lot to dive into. But the first topic I really wanted to cover was Jey Uso, the Yeet Man, main eventing WrestleMania. There's no way that goes on the main event, is there, boys?
No. No.
Oh.
Absolutely not. I mean, think about where we're possibly going. Okay, I will. This is. I'll give this bit of credit to WB. This is probably one of the first unpredictable Mania cards because you don't. There's a lot of stuff going on that you don't know where the card is going. You know, like we could get a triple threat match between Seth, Drew, and Punk. We could get Punk versus Roman. You get Roman versus Rock. You get. There's so many different stories going on, all intertwined. You just don't know where things are going. Jey Uso versus Gunter. It's not Mania. It might night one main event worthy, but not overall WrestleMania main event worthy. Not one bit. I was okay with Jey winning the Rumble. I was fine with it. It was a genuine shock, genuine surprise. You know, if you thought 10 years ago who would be Royal Rumble winners of all time, you would never ever have put Jey Uso's name in that category. Never. Nobody would have said Jey Uso over the next 20 years, 10 years, whatever you want to go by. So it was a genuine shock. What I think ruined it and what kind of really made people be like, really, we're doing this again? We just had them at Saturday Night's main event the week before the Rumble. And we're right back. So I do feel like that has cost them massively in the terms of let's get this match over. We've seen it once already at Saturday Night's main event. And then obviously we had Jey Uso versus Damien Priest back in France.
That's a Triple H formula, though. for a lot of these title changes. That they have the title match. The challenger should win when he's hot and doesn't, and then wins the next time. You can see the story that they're trying though. Like he can't win the big one, but of course Jey Uso main events night one. It goes without saying, and that's still the main event. And that's the way they see it now. When you hear that Kevin Owens is a two-time WrestleMania main eventer, both night one, but he's still a two-time WrestleMania main eventer. So 100% Jey Uso main events WrestleMania. If he doesn't, it's the biggest joke. I'm not a Jey Uso fan, but his whole gimmick is he's the main event. It's him trying to get to the main event, and he's won the Royal Rumble, so that should give him the key to the main event. Now, if they don't put him last match on night one, what is the point of the Royal Rumble? I think it just devalues it a little bit. So I think as long as he, I agree if he's not going to main event the whole show, but night one, 100%. It's a shame the way that it's been booked. Also, it's just the way Gunter's been booked as well as World Heavyweight Champion. It's just very underwhelming, and it's actually one of his title reigns. It's actually not his fault. Normally, you can say that a guy isn't good enough to be champion. I just think it's been really poorly booked. So it's just you've got quite an underwhelming match there, but I think it's all about the pop. I don't think it'll be a long match. I think it'll be quite a quick match, all about the splash, all about the yeah, and then that's it. That's it. I think if it's not main event, I don't see the point of it. Let Jay get his win that he deserves and move on.
Again, it's another thing of, would you have ever seen Jey Uso win the world title at WrestleMania? No.
Well, the thing is good, that's what that title should be for, right? When it came in, I know Rollins held it for a while, well, quite a long time, when he won it first, but that's what that title should be for. That guy making the next step. They're not going to get the Cody Rhodes treatment, the Roman Reigns treatment, and all that. So that's what that title should be for. And in terms of merch and popularity, rightly or wrongly, the guy is over. It's annoying, but he is. Like, I mean, he's not really for people like us. He's not tailored for us. But you put this guy in this position.
I love to eat.
I mean, whatever you do with John Cena in the attic, that's up to you, right? But in terms of the majority, maybe I'm stereotyping. I don't know how many people like to eat in their own time. I prefer no eating, but. Yeah.
I'd love to play back our recent get together from Saturday night at that pub when you were standing up going, Yeet! After all that.
Well,
I've seen you eat over the weekend.
Cut
Don't eat
for me.
there is no proof. If it wasn't filmed, it didn't happen.
Shit.
That is true, and that's what Martin says about his John Cena. No, never mind.
Exactly. It's not here. You can't see it. Doesn't exist.
So my thoughts on that. I think I think he had to pick Gunter for a start, right?
100%.
He had to. So
Yeah.
that's okay. The main event wise, main event at night one, they really need to build the shit out of it now because I agree with both of you. Weirdly, you both make good points. One, we've seen it. Two, it's the way Triple H always does it. He was almost testing the waters at Saturday night's main event by having that match again, and at the same time they kind of then write the story the same way they often do with like Sammy, etc., Drew, of I've lost this opportunity so many times, I'm going to win it eventually. And it makes you want to see it more, which is probably going to be similar to what happens with Sheamus, for example, who will probably win the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania because we've seen him try so many times. And instead of getting back in line and allowing somebody else to take the opportunity, Jey Uso doesn't have to do that because he did win the Royal Rumble. So at least there is that. He has every right to try. And the main thing for me, why he probably will main event night one, is they need new stars and they need to actually pull the trigger on them. At the moment, with the new era, with Netflix, with all of the publicity and eyes on WWE at the moment, we need to see new stars being developed and being pushed because they were still relying on nostalgia pops 10 years ago. And as we'll get to later, nostalgia pops are no longer a relevant way out for this company. People don't want to see it anymore. and they need to pull the trigger.
Here's the
What?
only way I can see Jey Uso actually getting the overall main event is Triple H going, okay, we had a great visual ending of two guys who should never have been at the top in the ring, both as world champions at WrestleMania 20. We can't use that. Let's recreate it. Cody beats whoever Cody beats. Jey Uso, that's when he gets the main event. It's just so they can have that visual to actually be able to use of two guys who never should be at the top at the end of a main event of WrestleMania in the ring and all that, pyro and fucking shit going off. That's the
I don't
only.
think Triple H cares about that. I don't think he. I think he's. I think if he had it his way, he'd be the one coming out in the main event, put himself over.
Well,
I don't think he cares about a moment like that, Martin. I'm sorry. I think that's wishful thinking there.
Jay, you're not going over, pal. I'm beating Gunther.
Aaron, you're going to jump in on that.
Yeah, I just think going back to your point about the stars thing, they've just put themselves in a corner, even in the sense of the week to week stuff. Because put it this way, take Saturday night's main event. Gunter needs an opponent, and I'm just going to use someone like Rey Mysterio as an example. He's a credible guy, former world champion, but because the way that he gets booked, like Rey, over the years, you know is what am I trying to say? Like, he's never going to win that match. He's not even going to come close. He shouldn't be in that position. But that's like years of like all obvious booking. Like, if a heel comes up, oh, they'll go and feud with Ray and they'll beat Ray. There will be faces like that. There'll be vice versa, where it's always the same people. So look at Penta has just come in, and it's like they feed the same guys to him, like Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne, these sort of guys. And Pete Dunne's good, not obviously world champion material, but it's like they do the same thing, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So it's like you are stuck for someone who could potentially win. And even though they've got a decent sized roster, it does feel quite light for both shows. In terms of that mad star power for like that title credential. But then you get guys who become champions, like Intercontinental champions, United States champion, and then you don't see them for weeks, and then they lose all that momentum.
Yeah.
Yep. As Martin's pointed out, LA shite. Yeah,
How dare you?
like honestly, like yeah, like he was so over, but then everyone realized that he's the most boring wrestler bell to bell, and all he does is say yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. To be
yeah.
fair, it's not time for the angry Aaron rant yet.
I actually like LA Knight. Actually, to be fair, I don't know where that came from, but it's just because Martin did that. I just wanted to.
Mr. Knight, if you're listening, Aaron does not speak on
Aaron does
behalf
not
of
like
the
you.
FiveMarks
And I
network.
hope your mum, LA Knight, is all well.
Okay. Anyway, so I was going to jump because you've got a similar aspect with
You've
like
rightly thrown him off now. Look
AJ Styles to Cody Rhodes title reign. Somebody to throw in. They need
Yeah.
like when was the last time we had a new champion? Right? That
in terms
obviously Gunter.
of
A top face getting that big title. You have Cody won the big one. You have Gunther winning the big one, but they need more of these young new breeds taking that title. It can't just be like, oh, we'll give it a Rollins. Maybe Sheamus gets a boost. Styles will take it for a bit and carry us. They need to put money behind guys like
that's
Jey.
it. We're doing it. We're starting it right here. Angel Garza for the world heavyweight title. We're starting it. It's happening here.
Do you know what? I'm all for it. I am all for that.
Angel Garza.
We want Angel.
I'm all here for it. You heard it here first. Angel Garza for the main event of WrestleMania. Make it happen, Hunter.
Which leads us to our segue, because I think if we are going to talk about Angel Garza for some strange reason, not the man I was expecting to, I think he'd probably more likely end up on TNA, who are making a little bit of a resurgence of popularity, would you say, with this WWE partnership? We've seen some big names making appearances in NXT. We've seen some big names making appearances on Impact. It's all getting a bit exciting. What do you think of the old TNA WWE partnership? Aaron, you used to watch TNA religiously back in the days of 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, whatever, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, these guys. What do you think how do you think it's going for TNA at the moment?
It's still early days, but it's all positive just now, especially for someone. I mean, for myself, I'm very mainstream, so just to see TNA back in the spotlight is great for them, and I think they're doing it in a way. Okay, they're pushing this partnership, but I don't think it's ruining their product at the
No.
minute. If anything, it's enhancing their talent, and just seeing the interaction the other day of with Moose, and with Emmy, it was just unbelievable. It's just like a visual because like when I think of Moose, I think of like originally like EWR the game, right? And then
IC Dub as well, wasn't he? He was an IC
actually
Dub for a
dub,
bit.
yeah. But that was my first ever introduction to him,
Hmm.
and then just watch a bit of TNA, but just see the visual of that. I want to see that match. I really want to see those two go at it. And I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, this partnership is early days, but like I say, I think it's helping both companies at the minute.
Aaron wants to see two big, sweaty, meaty men slapping meat.
Oh my God, I'd love to see him slap
Me,
me.
me,
And
me,
you
me.
see the big man. You see the big man behind me was still
Oh
alive. Get
boy!
him in the mix as well. You know,
To be fair, the big man behind me is already slapping somebody else's meat.
I
but no,
think
no, honestly, I think I would. Yeah.
I think that the partnership is great for TNA. I will say as someone who actually I was the same. Found TNA wrestling on whatever it was Bravo originally, and then it was
Challenge
Challenge.
TV.
It was challenge, yeah.
You know, that's where I first saw the likes of AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, um,
Christopher Daniels.
Christopher
Kazarian.
Frankie Kazarian,
Motor City Machine Guns,
the
motherfucker.
best tag team in the WWE right now, and everyone sitting on this podcast definitely agrees with that. No one disagrees with that. However,
Okay, what a lot. Shite.
I did dip out of TNA when the whole Global Force thing happened, the Dixie Card. It was around 2013 I stopped watching. It was actually just as AJ left, which definitely for me would have played a massive factor. I remember Magnus being champion and stuff, but I think at that point I just didn't have the channels anymore. But fell out, you could see the decline happening. And then 2020, I actually started watching again because at that point, remember the mass release of fucking talent happened, like the Good Brothers,
Yeah.
EC3, all them. Most of them hopped over, so I hopped over, and I was kind of watching in and out of it. And then the last year and a half of Impact Wrestling, I paid was like 99 cents a month to watch all the live shows on YouTube. No problem. Watched every live show. Then they got rid of it recently, and I'm very tempted to. I will say their membership thing is fucking ridiculously priced. But I'm very tempted to fucking sign up because I think, especially, I almost dipped out when Scott D'Amore got fired because I feel like he was
Yeah.
the man that fucking brought it back to life. I feel like the TNA partnership one is all thanks to Scott D'Amore. I think he deserves his fucking credit in that. And I think it's the best thing for fucking TNA right now. I mean, you got people like fucking, as you just said, Obafemi and Moose. Oh my
Yeah,
fuck,
unreal.
that's gonna be fucking unreal. You have JDC hopping back over to NXT. You know, we just saw Elijah show up on TNA. You've got the clones showing up on TNA. Mustafa Ali came back, which is fucking great. I love what he did in TNA with the likes of Speedball Mike Bailey, who I wish was still there. The Hardys hopping over to NXT. I feel like both shows are benefiting from this massively. One thing I want to say is I would love if, even if WWE were the ones to put this together, if TNA decided to set up their home, like the shows constantly always being recorded in Full Sail University. I fucking miss Full Sail University crowds. They're always fucking lit. It's just absolutely amazing energy every time, and the last TNA show shows it again. I miss Full Sail so bloody much.
can't disagree with that, to be fair. That's the crowd and the energy of Full Sail and the crowd that you used to get at TNA is what really kept it going. I mean, they watched some amount of shit back in the day. They watched some of the most influential wrestling of the mid 2000s with guys like Styles, and even though Kurt Angle was already a star beforehand, but having him there, Samoa Joe's emergence, and then they still stuck through Hulk Hogan shitting all over it, Eric Bischoff coming in, who I actually, for some reason, I still really like Eric Bischoff, but really stunk the place up. They stuck through the long, laborious Aces and Eights storyline, which again I
Okay,
liked.
no, Aces and
I
Ace was great. I will stand by that. I loved Aces and Eights.
Aces and
I,
Eights is like that Netflix show that, well, I don't know, maybe like Game of Thrones, and I've not seen it, but I've been told just don't watch the last season. Aces and Aces is that, right? It was
How
great
dare
until,
you?
oh fuck me, like, what are they doing now? I
yeah,
loved it,
yeah,
but it got a wee bit too ahead of itself.
How dare you? Can't
Not for
I
believe
me.
it.
pref- I prefer the baby storyline of AJ.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I thought, yeah, that was all right. Look, I'm a massive fan of Coronation Street, so that just tied right in.
What's Coronation got to do with the storyline?
Well, look, it's all about whose baby is it, and you got to do the right thing. AJ, you got to do the right thing.
Well, if you ever want that FiveMarks Coronation Street special, I think we've found
We
our
found our
niche.
guy. We found our guy to do the Coronation
What?
Street podcast.
So the thing that worries me about the TNA WWE partnership, there's two things. One is you mentioned Martin the Hardys. Um, now between Matt and Jeff, I think Aaron and I as kids, huge fans. Um, I don't want to see them on NXT. I don't want to see them interacting anymore. I'm kind of done with the Hardys. I'm kind of over
He's hardied out.
nostalgia a little bit. And for me, one of the things that I was going to ask you guys before we started, but I'm kind of happy to hear your thoughts now. Are we in danger of having too much? Too many wrestlers, too many shows. Now I think about NXT and it's on fire. I think about Raw and SmackDown. Now people will have their opinions on how well the shows have been booked in the moment, but then you've got Evolve, you've got what LFG, these new systems, you've got Speed. There's a lot going on at the moment,
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of hard to give my time to them all, and I
It,
just don't need to see this amount.
here's you kind of have your niche, if you know what I mean. So like, especially with me, I'm trying to follow a load of shit at the moment. Like I'm trying to follow WWE. I'm trying to follow what's going on here in Ireland. Progress and Rev Pro over in the UK. TNA. AEW is somewhere over there. It's pretty far away, but it's somewhere over there. Um, you kind of pick and choose what you want to watch and what you kind of don't, and kind of you have to try and find like a bit. What really helps, I think, is the actual Netflix partnership for us. Because it's not like you're waiting 4 weeks for the newest episode to come out of Raw or SmackDown next. You can turn on Raw for an hour, or even if you're at home for a couple of hours, you turn it on, you watch that Happy Days. You have NXT available whenever you want. SmackDown. Obviously, TNA for us is a little harder because we don't have it on TV. You know, you got to pay for the subscription, or I just, I'll watch whatever gets uploaded to uh, YouTube. Um, there is a lot of wrestling to watch. Like when the Evolve thing comes out, I won't be watching that. It's U.S. indie talent, which I won't have a care for.
Hmm.
LFG, whatever the fuck that's gonna end up being, it just seems to me like another Tough Enough. Which if it was
Yeah.
done the Tough Enough way, I'd watch it. That shit was entertaining as hell. Um, Speed is a good idea. it's not something you need to pay attention to all the time. It's more of, okay, what's something different that we can do? We don't have a cruiserweight title anymore, but we want that fast paced shit that Vince wouldn't let them do. We have a Twitter or X exclusive show. That'll always do good numbers because people will just look at it for a couple of seconds and turn off. I really enjoy Speed. The show, not the, you know. So
Oh, you do in your own time.
Learning a lot about you, Martin.
I know one episode and already I'm the one cancelling the show. There is a lot of content to watch. Thank God, a lot of it is shit because otherwise you'd be absolutely fucked. Otherwise, but I don't think the partnership or anything will hurt either company too much because TNA could be a great thing for guys who WWE sign to NXT who aren't TV ready but will give them a shot over there. Like you see Santino's daughter is currently doing commentary and help doing skits backstage with her dad. Completely entertaining. She might get into the ring. The one thing I want to come out of this partnership, and I hope to God it happens this year, is a TNA World Title match at WrestleMania. That's all I want out of this.
I think it's too soon. I think give it another year.
Another year. I don't care when it happens.
Oh, it's definitely happening.
They have a 5-year partnership at the moment. A TNA World Title match at WrestleMania.
I actually think it could happen sooner than you think. It just won't be a WrestleMania pay-per-view. I think as part of Cena's retirement run, this is dissecting, going away, Joe Hendry. And the only reason I say it is because Joe Hendry's mentioned it in that podcast he did with Ariawani. Is that how you pronounce his name? But basically what he was saying about it is when he spoke to Cena, Cena was like, "What's up to you to make it happen?" And it's one thing about Joe Hendry, he's a good promoter. He knows how to put himself over and he's a good promoter. And Cena speaks for itself. I think that will happen. Whether it happens in a WWE pay-per-view or a TNA one, that remains to be seen. But I think that's when we get it.
I will say
100%.
this, in the next year, we will have John Cena crossing the line. That is my bold prediction. John Cena, before he retires, will show up on TNA and do one match to say it's been done.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. I agree with you.
I never really thought about how deep that could go. Both of those ideas have blown my mind, to be fair.
And then just to sort of integrate all companies, then Christian Cage comes out with his one title shot, and then challenges the winner.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I know. And then Angel Garza could come out, and
then we get Angel Garza as world champion. Let's go!
It's like WrestleMania 42 just booked itself.
My mind's blown. I was going to touch on the different partnerships, or not partnership, but what other matchups we maybe want to see, but we've covered quite a lot there. I think the idea of a TNA title match at WrestleMania might be where this could potentially go. I think clearly they're going to do some sort of invasion.
There will be a pay-per-view, and it will be that one they did with what was it called again? They did one with like NXT versus NXT UK. What the fuck was it called?
Clyde? And it was a Clyde?
What the fuck was it called? It was pretty much like a company versus company almost type of thing.
Yeah.
They'll do that with WWE or NXT and TNA. There will be a collaborative pay-per-view. 100%. That's going to bother me. And what's awful is I can't just go, let me just go on the network real quick, lads, and just have a look at that pay-per-view. Because it's not fucking there.
It was Collide, though, our resident researcher. It's just giving us that
info.
Was it
Worlds Collide or something like that?
Worlds Collide, yeah. 2020.
Yeah, Worlds Collide.
I think that's potentially where this could end up. And for sure, that's something that we can boldly predict. But there ain't that much we can really predict following SmackDown this past week, where listen, we spent a bit of time there on TNA. I don't know how much time we're going to spend on this, but for sure, I'd like to pass to Aaron because this is probably the segment of the show that the viewers and the listeners will get used to for a bit of rage. Aaron, The Rock appeared on SmackDown this past week. That's all I'm going to say. What were your
Mm.
thoughts?
Do you know, last week I ranted about a specific tag team that people apparently like, and it may be a bit controversial. I think this week, Mark, it's not controversial, really. Um, Me and you were together in London, and we stayed up. We stayed up to watch SmackDown in anticipation of that prick. Um, I feel like an absolute idiot and a mark myself that I've stayed up and just been and fallen into the trap to be like, I need to hear what this fucking idiot's got to say. And when he came out, I'll admit it, I was excited. And then I see this stupid block of color appear on my screen and some mainstream music pish mixed in with his theme. And straight away, I'm like, this is going to be absolutely shite. It's all for him and his ego because he's got some free time. He's going to just do what the fuck he wants, really. And since that, like, ever since that entrance, I was like, right, this is going to be a car crash. And he comes out. I've never seen a promo where someone turns heel 5 times in the space of 2 minutes. I can do a Rock promo. It's great to be here. It's great to be here. Oh, Martin, you've got an STI. It's great to be here. It's great to be here. Oh, Mark, did someone give you herpes? It's great to be here. It's great to be here. I'm the Rock. I'm the main man. If you smell the
It's
Rock's
gonna
cooking,
be
I love you
bloodline
guys.
rules.
Yeah, I love you guys so much. But wait, the final boss is talking. Shut the hell up. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, the stick is old, but I've been saying this for years before the Rock's come back.
Gotta be
The
said, yeah.
promo. See, I think as well, when you watch that promo, it's very different when you're watching it on YouTube after or watching it or on X seeing opinions. When you're watching it live and you're watching that promo for however long it was, it did not flow. He repeated himself like 10 times, just going around a circle. It was awkward. It was like, well, I mean, it probably was just shoehorned very last minute, but you could tell there was no real direction with it, and it was just flat.
But
And very rarely
isn't this the
does
same
Rock
thing we
does.
had after WrestleMania, where like it was just one awkward promo where
Yeah,
you're just there like, what the fuck is going on?
but like so Cody, he does it well, right? He does that. I don't know where I am. Awkward face. He does that face, which is really annoying. But it's just there. It's probably true because it wasn't going anywhere. I mean, that guy Dwayne, all he cares about is himself. Even when he's in a movie, he's got to sign a contract that he can't lose. He's got to be the strong guy in it, which is very weird if he's going to be in a Scorsese movie. They're probably going to kill him off. But nah, but it's Rock. He'll get his way. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. But the thing is, it's idiots like me and you, Mark, that stay up till 4 in the morning in
I
anticipation to
tried
hear
to
what
go
he
to
says.
bed.
I know you tried to go to bed, but
I was desperate to go to bed.
I wanted to see the final boss. But instead, what I got is a kiss ass vanilla 2002 parody of The Rock. It was honestly, it was just frustrating because all it does now, it puts all the emphasis back on him. It takes away from the talent as per usual. And the bottom line is he's fucking up plans. I don't care what's going on. He's fucked up the card before. He's fucking up now. Rock, go away. Fuck off and go away. Please, please just
Die,
fuck
Rocky,
off.
die.
Die. No, I don't want him to die. I don't want him to die. But I tell you what, Martin, it's close.
I'd love to know what the original idea was supposed to be, because like I hate the fact that we don't have the final boss type thing anymore. Because like go back to Bad Blood, when Rock comes out, he's still heel Rock, has the title, one,
Yeah.
2, 3, slit your throat, and walks away, and then we got nothing. Nothing
Yeah, but
after
that's
that.
another thing, Martin. That's another thing. That guy comes out because he wants Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns to main event in that pay per view just so he can come out and be the last one. When really Drew and Punk should be main eventing, But The Rock does what The Rock wants. He's treating it like his own little ego
Yeah.
boost, and it's just
Just gonna
it's a
happen.
joke. But also what? Sorry, but what? My partner's brother was like to me. He goes, "I love this. It's like Star Wars shit. It's like Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader." I'm thinking, nah, fuck that. The last thing I want to see is
C3PO and fucking R2D2 more like it.
yeah,
Do you know what I
exactly,
can't wait for it to be?
exactly.
I can't wait for it to be like Elimination Chamber 2010. Cody's
Oh,
just beaten. No. This is after that. Cody has just beaten Roman. The Rock, who is the boss, comes out and says, "This night's not over. You got one more match. You got one more opponent, and it's Angel Garza."
And the crowd go
And the crowd goes
wild.
wild.
Oh man, honestly, do you know the worst part of this, boys? All what it does to it makes it intriguing. I am not confident there's going to be a payoff to this.
No, God, no.
That's the thing. You've hit the nail on the head. It's now intriguing because I think we can all agree this WrestleMania belt has been a bit shit,
You're
right?
awful.
They had a plan for the last year and whatever, a long-term plan that they've had to kind of shuffle about because of The Rock's availability initially and because of other sort of injuries, etc. Just the build, we can't quite tell. It's less predictable. I'm not pumped. I'm not hyped. Fair enough. But give them a chance to get us pumped.
Oh yeah.
Give us a
We,
chance. But that's what, and I'm saying that before Friday. When The Rock comes in, any plans that were put in place, he's decided to kick away. He's decided I'm gonna just come because I'm free and say some random shit which makes no sense, and then in a press conference afterwards start to talk about we don't actually need to have a match. Our characters are just, so like this arty pish about how their characters don't need a match. This is fucking pro wrestling, mate. If it doesn't end in a match, what are you going to do? Just stand there and talk to each other about how much you love each other as brothers because you sucked his soul out? Nah, for me, The Rock, I totally agree. Didn't quite get it. But at the same time, it's now car crash TV. It's not must watch because, oh my God, what's going to happen? It's car crash TV must watch
and just
Yeah,
one
but
because
question we
we
still
don't know where
don't
it's going
know:
to go.
what was the favor to
oh,
Paul
so what?
Heyman?
Oh, so right, so Punk's already said that was to get him to WrestleMania. He said that on Raw, right? Ages ago. And I still think that will lead to Punk getting a title match in Mania, Martin. And you see if it doesn't,
I
it's just another
personally think it
example of
was
WWE.
originally supposed to be, "I want a match with Roman."
No, because he said on Raw the favors for
Did he?
WrestleMania.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was before I'm pretty sure it was before the Rumble though. He said that it's like his ticket to Mania because that's all he wants is to main event Mania. But the thing is, because it's not been mentioned for so long, they could easily change that narrative.
Oh yeah. Sure, look, I
Yeah,
already forgot about it.
easily. But you got to remember, but the night after WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes and the watch and what was said, the gift and all that, and then all of a sudden it's just used as like an Instagram thing because everybody knows about it. That went nowhere. So it's sometimes they're too clever for their own good for this long term booking
Yeah.
and little
Well, I
simple
don't
stuff.
know. I don't know if it's the case that they're too clever for their own good or that The Rock just changes the plans and
That
pivots
doesn't
because
Well,
work
are
for
we
me,
free? I'm not
brother.
free. Yeah. Rock could be as destructive as Hogan.
he's worse. He's worse. The Rock is worse. The Rock has always just put everyone
But
down.
does it not? Sorry, does it not go back to what Kevin Nash said years ago? You cannot give a pro wrestler creative freedom.
Yeah.
You can't. Look what happened to Hogan.
Well,
But with
say
The
that,
Rock,
but
he's a director. He's a
yeah,
director
that's
of
the thing.
this.
He's worse than a creative freedom. He's a bloody on the board. He's got more power
I
than Triple H.
I hope, Not like I want anyone to do bad things, but I just would love that guy to get cancelled for something. I think he needs to be off screen forever. I've never taken to him. Oh, do you know what always gets to me with the whole when he was taking the piss out of Rusev and Lana when he comes out, you know, like in 2015, wherever it was, and just just fuck you, Rock. You're not seen on TV. All that talent works hard every week, and you're like just taking the piss. I mean, come on. Like,
Yeah.
but the one thing is the one thing that could potentially tie in. I know this isn't a Drew McIntyre podcast. Whether it happens in Mania, his chosen champion could be Drew for the Raw. I think this could be a way for Drew to eventually take the title off Cody. I don't think it'll be a Mania, but I can see that maybe happening if The Rock is going to stick around. But will he stick around past WrestleMania 41 if he's got this big movie he's filming for? Maybe this is it for him. I don't know.
Will he even be at Mania 41? Like, he
Oh,
probably don't even know.
he'll be there. I seen it said in 2011 via satellite, but he will be there. He will
The
be there in some
opi-
capacity. He must be.
the world's opinion of The Rock it seems to be slightly changing. Never mind just the WWE fans.
What I think this would be the biggest slap in the face, but I wouldn't rule it past him. At Elimination Chamber, Cody goes, "No, I am not selling my soul to you. I'm not becoming your champion." Then
The
The Rock
fuck does that
goes,
even mean?
and then The Rock goes, "Okay, I respect you," and that's the
Well,
segment. That's it.
here's where they can go with that because Triple H did the same thing. Well, not the whole I want your soul thing. He did the same thing to Roman before Survivor Series whenever Seth
Sheamus.
broke his fucking leg. He said, I want you to be my champion. Roman ultimately said, fuck you, and then that's when we had the Sheamus cash in. They fucked
Yeah.
him over. And that could happen. Cody wins, and maybe Rock sends in like fucking Solo Sikoa or
Fatu, Jacob Fatu.
or fuck it, let's just say let's strap the fucking rocket to this guy and we send in Tongaloa. You know, make
Give him a
Tongaloa
low
the
blow.
fucking tribal chief. I would say that now though. I would be very pissed off if it's Tongaloa because Tama Tonga is one of my favorite fucking wrestlers. So that's a Martin fact.
The,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. There's no danger. There's no danger. But yeah, The Rock has clearly given us quite a shake up of where this could potentially go. And you know what? In 2 weeks' time, it's going to be really interesting because we will have had the Elimination Chamber by then. So I'm quite excited to return to that conversation just to see
Mhm.
just what has changed.
I think just one more point on it. I think we're actually in a good position this time because we're expecting nothing. So it can only be better. Normally with The Rock, it's like the expectation's so high and then it's just so underwhelming and confusing. But now, like, I've got no expectation. So it's like, if it does turn out good, you're like, Triple H. And I will say about Triple H, I'll criticize his booking, so I think he's very overrated, his booking. But sometimes he'll just do something that wins me over.
He's
So
still
I wouldn't put it
salty from
past him.
Scotland.
Oh, well, for all the viewers who do not see my Clash at the Castle hat, yes, I'm extremely salty, Martin, for that weekend. Extremely salty, but that's for another podcast because I can't get emotional. I've already got in trouble for shouting about The Rock there. Got told to chill my beans. So,
Old wounds reopened.
So what else we got on
For
the
sure.
agenda?
Yeah, the final point, it was a bit of a round table. Topic of the show, just a bit of fun. Now, I didn't know if we would really want to spend thought we could give a bit more time than maybe we've got for this, but interested anyway, just to
We got
kickstart the
15
conversation,
minutes.
see how we get on. So for this, the idea is before the show, we got together and had a little think about um, gimmicks, wrestlers, people who maybe deserved a little bit more than they got. So we're not being strict with this, just wanted to kind of go around the ground, open up the discussion. What wrestlers had a gimmick or a storyline or got themselves into a position where, you know what, why didn't we go with that a little bit more? They deserve more from the booking they got.
mhm.
Um, and Martin, I think I'll let you kick us off for this one.
I have a very fun one. And I always give this name because I am one of those people that went back and watched like old SmackDown and went, God, this guy was really good. He had an okay character. he had a great tag team. Why did nobody actually do anything with this guy? And that guy is the rising sun, Kenzo Suzuki. I fucking loved Kenzo Suzuki. He was one of those like mid carders who you'd hope would do something. Um, I think at most he got was a tag team title run with fucking Rene Dupree, which that lasted a couple of months. And even then, like Rene Dupree, who was one of the youngest fucking talents they had in the WWE at the time, I thought Kenzo was fucking great. He wasn't amazing. He wasn't main event level. He probably could have with a bit more fucking time. But like then you decide to go from this the typical anti-American kick everyone's arse, win and then get crushed character to a singing, dancing, I love America Kenzo Suzuki. What the fuck was that shit about? They did try to redeem themselves, as I said, with the tag titles with Rene Dupree, but nothing ever came from Kenzo realistically afterwards. He got drafted over to Raw. I don't think he ever actually had a match on Raw, and then he was released like shortly afterwards. I thought that they could have done so much more with Kenzo Suzuki, and that probably is 100% just nostalgia kicking in.
Could be a bit of that, but my argument for lack of success for somebody like a Kenzo in that period of time, xenophobia, borderline racism, right? I don't want to be accusing them of that, but it's like you think of some of the stars that really weren't ever received in the right way, that weren't got over the years. It probably took until Nakamura for a man from Japan to reach the levels they deserved. Tajiri was there, Kung Fu Naki was there,
Funaki.
Yoshitatsu was there, and these guys were all shit hot what they did, and more often than not, I mean, look at Akira Tozawa just now. To be fair, like they just end up making them slightly gimmicky, not really doing too much, or making them a laughing stock. That's a good shout. Aaron, what's your thoughts on him?
I just remember him feuding with Cena. It was just a
Yeah.
feud to put Cena over. It was the most one-sided feud ever. It was like Cena would just take the piss out of him every week. You might have got one beat down in that time, but Cena won everything. And at the time, you don't really realize it. But looking back at it, yeah, I sort of agree with you, Martin. Just really not treated.
He was built,
Um,
fed to Cena, born in the USA. Oh, tag
yeah,
title. You're going to Raw.
yeah.
Cool. You're fired. What?
It was a segment where he dressed up as an American. It was poor. It was poor. It was just one to just take the piss out of him. You know, where he's wearing the top hat and the stripy long pants. South American, the trousers. But yeah, yeah. Look, I agree. But obviously, when I'm just a kid watching it, I did find him quite boring. Do you know what I mean? But that's how he was meant to be presented. This
You had
evil
to hate
heel,
him.
not much.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a unique one. It's a unique one, but it's really one that's hard to argue with.
Yeah. So I mean, the point of the conversation, or what sparked this conversation, was one man for me, um, who's been getting a lot of praise recently, and that's the man on the commentary desk, probably for me, um, the MVP of commentary for the last year, and that's your man, ba 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 ba,
Oh,
Wade Barrett.
The
I thought
fuck were
you
you
were going to talk about the
thinking of?
coach. I thought you were talking about the coach. Jonathan Coachman.
Nah, I was going. I think for the last year, I mean, I could maybe I should say that for another time. I love the coach, but the reason this really came about was because of Wade Barrett. I was thinking, God, that guy. I wish he could get back in the ring. What an amazing missed opportunity for him.
Uh
People
huh.
remember him from the Nexus, etc. But man, that gimmick of Bad News Barrett should have been pushed way harder, way farther. There was a point where Raw was that unwatchable that a little 30-second segment featuring Wade Barrett as Bad News Barrett for a bit of
Oh,
decorum here.
I'm
would.
afraid I've got some bad news.
Yeah, but he's the core of the core. Honestly, but the guy got punished, right, for getting himself over where he shouldn't have been. That's the
But
problem.
it wasn't even his own fault. Like they gave him that gimmick. He got cheered, and they were like, "No, no, 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 come on. Hey, you weren't supposed to get those cheers. Come on, down you get." And then he just became nothing. Part of the
Yeah,
League of Nations and stuff.
yeah, but that stuff that he was doing the JBL Cole show was just it's amazing. They still talk about it. Like it was
For
just brilliant.
Yeah, for those of you who ever watched that, I was big on the JBL and Co show
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
on
brilliant.
YouTube. That was yeah, the original what's the Being the Elite? The original
Yeah.
Being the Elite for me. That was good fun with Renee Paquette as well. And but yeah, Wade Barrett for me. And don't just mean in the Nexus. You can take different parts of that man's career and say deserve more, deserve better. But they dropped the ball with Bad News Barrett um,
Definitely.
because the crowd was behind him. Uh, and he had an over gimmick, and it was fun, and he could go, and he was hard hitting. There's really not
Yeah.
much to. It's actually baffling they didn't just go with it, to be
Mm.
honest.
I think he was just always labelled as they fumbled him, the fumbler, like
Yeah,
after the Nexus thing, and I think he just could never get out of that reputation really within the company. But no, I agree with you. It's like an obscure one because he didn't do that gimmick for that long. Came back after
no,
Mania. Um, against Ray, didn't he? That was his first ring appearance with it. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity there. I agree with you. The most entertaining wrestler in that time period what was it 2013, 14, whatever it was. Um, but yeah, he's smashing it now though. Love to see him go in the ring one more time.
yeah, wouldn't mind against Drew, maybe.
Who have you brought, Aaron, to the table?
So I think mine's a bit boring, Martin. To be honest with you, what I will say, I do have a special
This one.
mention. It's cheap. No, so actually, so my special mention is someone who's actually tied in with this, and I've mentioned her before, who I thought had the potential to be a great manager, and the reason that she's not really my main person is because it's her choice to leave, and that was Mama Benjamin. I thought she was a terrific manager. I thought she really elevated Shelton Benjamin during that time period. Brilliant, honestly. Like just typical. I know it's taking the piss at Big Mama's house, but it was her choice to leave. So that's not my choice. My choice though is actually someone who had
I wish it was Mama Benjamin. That's such.
I'm surprised, Mama Benjamin. That would have popped the boys earlier on if that was your background. Jesus.
No, that would
yeah.
have
Oh,
popped me. It would have popped me then even more if you were just like let it go on for ages.
that's
This person should have been shot to the moon and blah blah. My person is Mama Benjamin. I just that would have fucking
Oh, that's a
popped
missed.
me.
It was a missed opportunity there because I just didn't think it would have been believable. But from going from that hype to mine's actually quite underwhelming because this guy did have a good WWE career, still potentially got a WWE career, but there was a missed opportunity in '05 for Matt freaking Hardy to become a mega star.
2 words.
Two
Matt
words.
freaking Hardy.
Yeah, 2 words. Matt freaking Hardy.
That's
Yep.
true.
Do you know Matt likes milk with his cereal?
Oh wow, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
That's an interesting Matt fact.
Yeah, that is.
You might
Um,
think this is a bit of a boring one. I generally think this is a really good shout because I know
yeah.
you've got a lot of reasons for it.
Oh, I love
This,
Matt Hardy. Yeah.
yeah, go on, tell us your thinking behind it because
Well,
this is a real fumble from WWE.
yeah. Well, look. So obviously everyone knows the story. Matt was out injured during that time period. Leah, who he's going out with, was bumping uglies with Adam Copeland, now known as. And lost a train of thought there. Um, and just put myself terrible. So yeah, so that happened. Then he said it in public, which he shouldn't have done. He got fired, and then everybody was basically cheering, going mental, wanting Matt back. Literally, it didn't matter the arena. We want Matt, or you screwed Matt, you screwed Matt. So because of the popularity, WWE rehired him. Really didn't have a choice after his 90-day non-compete release clause, essentially. Um, and they brought him back. I remember that they brought him back in the main event of Raw. Now, if I think of Matt Hardy's career, that's mental to think that Vince McMahon comes out in the ring and it's like, we're bringing him back. This is the fans, well, whatever. And he comes out in a limo and the pop he got, like, that's like star making return. And then basically, the guy's just been screwed over, comes back with all the fanfare behind him. And then the purpose of bringing him back was just to give Edge the rub and to punish Matt for airing out the dirty laundry in public. That's all that feud was, and really it should have been the vice versa. I don't know what was meant to happen at the SummerSlam match, and I don't know if that was a shoot or what happened that Matt got knocked out, but that completely derailed it from the offset. The guy's coming back wanting to beat the fuck out of someone that's cheated with his missus, and he's essentially got knocked out after 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever it was. It just wasn't a good look. I know he got his win back at Unforgiven, but it was like a one-sided feud. Matt got a few licks at the beginning, but ever since Matt got rehired, and then he really did nothing in the mid card. I know he had a feud with MVP and stuff, but God, he was teaming up and feuding with like Road Warrior, doing nothing. Gregory Helms did really nothing, and then well, until he turned heel, really, with Jeff Hardy. I know he was ECW champion, but fuck's sake, Ezekiel Jackson was ECW champion. So I just think it was the best opportunity there. But people won't really notice it about it being a big thing because it was just a short period of time. It was actually, you're talking about like a couple months and it was over. So people forget about it because of what Matt Hardy did after in his career. But I think that's a missed opportunity just in terms of that time period. But like I say, it's a boring one because he did have a good career.
He did.
I,
He had a
but
wonderful career.
but
He did.
never have they. We're talking with Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, and Matt Hardy. WWE were given something in their hands. Like, crowd are telling you this, go for it. And the fact that Matt and Edge were willing, they put business first, they worked together quite happily, they made amends, sort of thing. Man, Matt deserved more. I think that's a really underrated shout. Martin, what are your
Mm.
thoughts on that?
Oh, massively. He did get a bit of a nice run there on SmackDown, as you mentioned. Got a US title run, got a memorable feud with MVP, but then what came of it? Do you know? Nothing came of it. Um, you had the Sly Hardy Boys reunion, sent to ECW, turned heel, and then was gone a couple of months later. Um, it was an interesting one that time. Obviously, like I was far too young to know any of that shit was going on or happening. Um,
Mm.
so finding out all the fucking stories years later is always very cool, and knowing that, oh yeah, that was a legit fucking fight you were seeing. Um, in the end, to me, Matt still had a good career, nice happy days career. Me personally, though, I would never have had him in the, like, maybe give him a title shot, but never be the champion, the world champion. I don't think. I don't think Matt was ready at that point, like both in ring and in his personal life. That I think things would have just gone fucking drastically down. But I do agree, Matt Hardy was a good shout.
Mm. It's a fair point that because he wasn't the best place with it, and he wasn't really proven at that level. But I always thought Marty was better than Jeff. Even now, Jeff is more marketable for some
I
reason with
was a I
the
was a
with
Jeff boy.
yeah, where yeah, that see, I never got the Jeff height, but that's I guess a conversation for a different time.
Probably.
But
For that
yeah.
round, though, we've got one. So for Kenzo, do we agree? Was it a fumble or a no
Of
fumble,
course I agree.
Aaron? Yeah.
Do you know what? It's a fumble, but I think he's an irrelevant guy. I'm sorry, Martin. Like he's a bit. I don't know. He's a big enough
I,
name.
I agree with
I
Aaron
hope you
on this
enjoyed
one.
that one episode.
I agree.
That's the only one
We're
that's
I'm
going
afraid
out.
we're saying Kenzo Suzuki.
That's fair.
Disagree. Bad news, Barrett.
I agree.
Boom. Of course, agree.
Okay, this is interesting because Matt Hardy. I think Martin, your point on
I
Dilly.
disagree because I feel like he still had a good career. Like
Uh,
nobody will ever look back and go, God, Matt
what
could have had
if?
so much more. What if he's been a world
Yeah.
champion? He's been a tag team champion. He's been a singles champion.
Mm.
He's had a good
He
career.
did make things work with a whole different gimmick as well, but I just would be so interested to see what would have happened. But actually, Oh, I'm so controversially just gonna have to say disagree because what came of Edge
Delete it.
probably outweighs it for me. But yeah, what do you guys think of our debate on the gimmicks or wrestlers who deserved more?
What about Mama
RSC.
Benjamin? Mama
Yeah,
Benjamin.
Oh no, we
I
all agree
agree
with
on
that.
Mama
It's fine.
Benjamin. I agree on Mama Benjamin.
Mama Benjamin.
Mama Benjamin.
Mal Sheldon. Mal Sheldon.
Remember when Eugene called her out and said, "I seen you in the film, Big Mama's House too."
Oh, I
Yeah,
love Eugene. That's my next one. That's my next one for next week's one. That's my next one.
we got it. Well, we still don't have a name for this, guys, but I'm hoping that someone in the old Five Marks audience will be able to find us one, come up with one. Martin, you're hopefully going to get us a bit of a
Well, we don't know what to fucking name this podcast. We talk about wrestling, we talk about WWE, we talk about all this random fucking shit. And you think we'd be smart enough to have a name. We don't. So we're putting it to you guys. What should we call this podcast? And we want legitimate, actual answers. I don't want to hear what fucking someone like a Robbie Mack or Claire, especially, she's not gonna answer this fucking shit. Let us know some ideas you guys have to what we should name this podcast. Realistically, if this is going on to an Instagram story, there'll be a little box down there. Just right below me. Ask it there. Just ask it there. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, anywhere else, drop in the comment section below, or even message us on Instagram, message us on X, FiveMarks Podcast or FiveMarks Pod. Tell you, I'm good.
sounds
Seller.
like a plan.
I'm
Yeah,
good
no,
seller.
I'd buy it. I feel like if I knew what to name, I'd try and come up with a name. But we don't have a name. But we do have the Instagram, the YouTube that you have just specified. We also had with us on this podcast, this unnamed vacant podcast, Mr. Aaron. Thanks for joining us, Aaron.
My pleasure, boys. My pleasure.
I think he maybe has well, almost the savior this time. I think with a bit of
Yeah,
fancy editing, Martin, I think we'll be okay.
I've let the team down again, but do you know what? There's always next week.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Here
Fool
is
me
hoping.
twice.
And thank you for letting us host this podcast on the FiveMarks Network. To the boss, Martin, thank you for joining us.
One of the bosses. I have other bosses above me sometimes, even though we're
Well,
all
they're not
equal.
here, so I've got to
Yeah.
kiss someone's ass.
Exactly. And it's not gonna be Aaron's.
Exactly.
it's gonna be a cardboard John Cena's arse, isn't it?
We do recurring jokes here on the Vacant podcast.
Yeah. Well, you got to round it up. You know, it's been a long time chatting.
It has. It has. And from myself, sitting in the host seat, the only Mark on the FiveMarks Network, is a thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye. Go on, Aaron. Go on. You get the last word. I'm gonna.
Goodbye.
He says it's so loud that it cut him off.